Mr. Harshvardhan Agarwal, President of FICCI, Mr. Francisco Diaz, the President of the Business Coordination Council of Mexico, Mr. John Delton, the Secretary General of the International Chamber of Commerce from Paris, Mr. Pankaj Khimji, Foreign Trade and International Cooperation Advisor, Ministry of Commerce, Industry and Investment Promotion, Sultanate of Oman, His Excellency Mr. Philip Green, the High Commissioner of Australia, Mr. Richard Heel, Chair of the UK-India Business Council, Mr. Vijay Sankar, Vice President FICCI, Mr. Ashok Rajani from BCG, my good friend Parikshit Luthra, who usually grills us, but today is grilling all of you. All the very distinguished participants, friends, ladies and gentlemen. I was just realizing that organizers of the program keep us so far apart. It's the photographers who bring us closer together. And as they were pushing each one of us to come closer so that the photograph in the frame looks good, I realized how important it is in today's day and age in the world where nations are drifting apart to come back closer, to come back together for a resilient, brighter future for the world, for every citizen of the world. And programs such as today's or this two-day engagement where you are discussing collaborations for growth in a transformative world becomes so much more important going forward. I was just looking at the various discussions you've had over this two-day initiative. Truly outstanding set of subjects. Very engrossing, very timely, setting the agenda for today's global value chains. And therefore, it's very important that different countries come together, work together, stay together, and grow together. And I do believe that the way FICCI is leading this initiative through bringing forth elements of leadership, elements of excellence, adaptability, diversity in today's day and age, and putting at the center of the agenda sustainability. It reflects the Indian ethos, the Indian way of life, the Indian thinking. Perfectly aligns also with India's growing aspirations. As we collectively as a nation work towards our ambition, our goal of a FICCI Bharat, a developed nation, a developed India by 2047, I think the coming together of nations, the coming together of such a wonderful set of very, very distinguished business leaders is inspirational, sets the tone and agenda for the future. And I'm very sure that all of us working together can significantly impact the lives, not only of the people in our respective countries, but the future of the world in terms of free trade, the future of the world in terms of open trading lines, the future of the world in terms of greater prosperity and better quality of life for every child born on this planet. In fact, in today's day and age, I think resilience in our supply chains, in today's day and age, our ability to navigate uncertainties, volatility, our ability to prepare ourselves for a future of partnerships, collaborations, cooperation amongst like-minded nations is going to define our success story. The Honorable Prime Minister had recently said, even amidst this global uncertainty, one thing is certain, that is Bharat's rapid growth. And of course, thanks to all the hard work you have all put in, and thanks to our partnership with such wonderful friends, India today is the world's fastest growing large economy. And I dare say, I see the next many decades where India will continue to be the fastest growing large economy. With 1.4 billion young Indians, and I say young Indians because we are one of the youngest populations on the globe today. 1.4 billion young aspirational Indians living in a democracy where the rule of law prevails, where investment is safe. The demand generated domestically, powering our growth, huge investments in infrastructure, leading to the multiplier effect and the growth story getting stronger. Decisive leadership, committed to inclusive growth. We've taken 250 million Indians out of poverty in the last 10 years. A government and a leadership who believes that sustainability is at the core of India's development agenda. It's not something that is done because we agreed to do it in Paris. It's not something we adapt to because the world tells us to do. It's intrinsic to the Indian thinking. It's a part of our way of life. I mean, many of you who have seen India from close quarters, and I know that Philip is a great reader of Indian history. Richard has been a friend for many, many years. Pankaj Khimji from Oman is a half-brother, if I may venture to suggest that. Our friends from Mexico, from France, countries with whom we share such deep ties. We are all collectively cognizant of India's very DNA, our thinking, which is so closely aligned with nature. The respect that every Indian has for nature from the day we are born. So much so that we in India look up to our rivers, look up to our mountains, look up to our forests with adulation, as if they are a form of divinity. And when you superimpose modern technology, when you bring in machine learning or quantum computing or artificial intelligence onto the Indian framework, you truly are multiplying India's growth story. Many of your subjects, the global AI race, the discussions centering around the new modern day trade dynamics, which was a part of today's plenary session, the discussions tomorrow around green financing, also the startup story where India today has a very preeminent position. We are the world's third largest startup ecosystem. All of these subjects are very, very relevant to our growth story. If I was to define India's growth story in 3 bullets, 1, India looks at converting every crisis, every challenge, every difficult situation into an opportunity. I still remember, friends, the Y2K story. You know, the changeover of the millennia from 1990s to 2000. Many parts of the developed world felt, if you have read Asterix and Obelix or remember those old comics, the sky is going to fall on our heads and all systems are going to collapse come midnight 31st December 1999. And our Indian IT industry flourished in that situation. We got huge contracts internationally. Of course, nothing happened on 1st of December 2000, except that the Indian IT industry never looked back. It has grown by leaps and bounds since then. Today, it's a calling card across the world. We would have probably 100 IT companies all across the world in different countries. TCS alone would be in over 100 countries. We came out with flying colors from the global financial crisis. COVID, where the world had written India off, they were concerned that how will a country with such a large population be able to cope with COVID, the unknown and the difficult period that we all went through. I remember different estimates were being made of millions of people losing their life in India. People used to challenge us. How will you save the country from starvation? How will you reach food grains and food products to remote corners of the country, given the very uncertain and very difficult times those were? But India overcame all the difficulties of COVID. We provided 2.5 billion vaccines. Every adult in the country received 2 doses, many 3 doses. Then we started giving vaccines to children, I think about 14 probably. And by that time, I think the COVID pandemic probably became a part of the immunity story. We didn't lose as many lives as were projected. We did not lose a single life to starvation. Not a single person died of starvation. I remember when I would research, the Prime Minister would often tell me to research the Spanish flu, which happened nearly 100 years to the day. God forbid what will happen in 2119 or 2120 next year, the next millennia. And in the Spanish flu, India lost more lives due to starvation than to the Spanish flu itself. But this time around, the nation was prepared. We had a strong economy. The resilience of the people of India was high. And we came out of COVID, again, emerging as the fastest growing large economy, and have never looked back since then. I say this because that is the true strength of the India growth story. Similarly, the second bucket would be our inclusive approach. India today is taking the country along. We are focused on the person at the bottom of the pyramid. It is no mean achievement that in the last 10 years, 40 million families received a free home from the government. Central government provided a free home, reasonably decent home, a home which has water flowing from a tap, a home which has electricity, a home which has digital connectivity, a home which has access to a proper road, a home which has cooking gas connection so that they're not dependent on the traditional methods of cooking. An empowered family living in a decent home prepares the nation for the times in the future. We have taken electricity to every nook and corner of the country. We embarked on Digital India 10 years ago. And I can't even imagine, without electricity in every home and digital connectivity in every home, how we would have overcome COVID. I think half the nation would have lost their senses living in their home if they didn't have electricity, television, digital education, and of course, OTT platforms to keep us busy. But that's the inclusive nature of growth. People are rising, incomes are rising, aspirationals are rising. And friends, the third bucket would be the action-oriented approach that a decisive leader like Prime Minister Modi has brought to the table. Today we are engaging with the free world, with the developed countries, from a position of strength, with self-confidence. We've entered into free trade agreements with, at least in my tenure, Mauritius, UAE. That was the fastest negotiated free trade agreement ever. With Australia, where the first tranche is done, we'll soon finalize the second tranche. My good friend and brother, the Honourable Minister Don Farrell, and I are actively working to close the finishing and cross the finishing line. We've concluded the four-nation EFTA bloc: Switzerland, Liechtenstein, Norway, and Iceland. And these are rich countries, by the way. I think Liechtenstein per capita income is what, $183,000. Switzerland is over $100,000. Countries who have committed to invest $100 billion in the next 15 years and create 1 million direct jobs. This $100 billion is foreign direct investment, mind you. And that will be the catalyst with debt, with domestic investment, with the ecosystem being created, all of that collectively leading to an investment of at least $500 billion. Just so that you don't have to trouble yourself with maths, that's roughly 45 lakh crore rupees of investments coming into the real world, innovation, manufacturing, services. There's not FII investment, there's not money going into the stock exchange. The Norwegian pension fund is separate. In addition to this, they've already invested 50 billion. I think in the next 15 years, we'll probably see at least another 200-300 billion coming into the stock markets from this region alone. Where else will they go? The Indian stock market is one of the best performing stock markets over the last 20-year period. And friends, when India provides $12 billion for promoting innovation, R&D in India, remember that that same work done in Switzerland or UK or Europe would cost them $100 billion. What we can do for $12 billion. And that is the pull factor. That is attracting people to look towards India. we've concluded a very robust, fair, equitable and balanced free trade agreement with UK last month. Both the Prime Ministers were present when my good friend and then Trade Minister Jonathan Reynolds and I inked the free trade agreement with them, with UK. We are in active negotiation. If you were to come to Vanijya Bhavan just now, you'll have almost the whole ground floor occupied, all the conference rooms occupied by negotiators from the European Union. My colleague Minister and friend Maros Sherkovich from EU is in town tomorrow onwards. Pankaj Khimji has to deliver the Oman FTA in days, weeks, what do I say? Weeks. You heard it from him. We are in active dialogue with the United States of America, with New Zealand. Qatar and I will be finalizing the terms of reference, I think, first week of October. Chile, Peru, and frankly, I've lost track because I'm already talking and promising many other nations that will expedite the discussions. I've run out of bandwidth in the Commerce Ministry. I don't know, maybe FICCI can lend me some resources also. But we are raring to go. India wants to be a part of the developed world, wants to work with friendly countries, wants to engage actively with nations with whom we share and have aligned interests, and where we can truly create partnerships that are enduring, sustainable, and a win-win. Because I'm sure friends of the business world realize no business deal, no partnership, no friendship can be one-sided. It has to be a win-win for both. In India, friends, we have a saying that you can only clap with two hands. And that's the kind of relationships we are creating with the rest of the free world, with the democratic world, with the developed countries, and with our friends. And on these three pillars, converting every crisis into an opportunity, an inclusive approach, an approach which believes in sustainability at the core of the Indian growth agenda, and an action-oriented approach to work with friends around the world. I think the proliferation of trade dynamics can only yield good results, can only yield success stories. And I thank FICCI for giving me this opportunity to represent the India growth story, the fundamentals of the strong, the macroeconomic fundamentals of a strong, vibrant economy with a young, aspirational, talented and skilled population wanting to do more, wanting to be a part of the growth story of the world, wanting to contribute through greater skills. I'm sure the future is ours to capture, to grasp, and to lead, as the FICCI's LEAD program suggests. Thank you very much, friends, and wish you all the very best for this conference.
Thank you, Honourable Minister, sir, for your inspiring ministerial address and for outlining forward-looking roadmap for India's role in the global trade landscape. And now to conclude, may I invite Mr. Vijay Sankar, Vice President FICCI and Chairman, the Sanmar Group, to deliver the closing remarks and to propose the vote of thanks.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my proud privilege on behalf of FICCI to deliver the closing remarks and the vote of thanks at the close of this truly stimulating plenary on the proliferation of trade dynamics. We have witnessed an engaging exchange of ideas on how business and governments must navigate uncertainty in global trade while building resilience, trust, and enduring partnerships. First, I extend our deep gratitude to our Honorable Minister Shri Piyush Goyal ji for sharing his thoughts. I want to take a minute to
Thank you very much, friends, and wish you all the very best for this conference.
Thank you, Honourable Minister, sir, for your inspiring ministerial address and for outlining forward-looking roadmap for India's role in the global trade landscape. And now to conclude, may I invite Mr. Vijay Sankar, Vice President FICCI and Chairman, the Sanmar Group, to deliver the closing remarks and to propose the vote of thanks.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my proud privilege on behalf of FICCI to deliver the closing remarks and the vote of thanks at the close of this truly stimulating plenary on the proliferation of trade dynamics. We have witnessed an engaging exchange
to make auto retail a true model of ease of doing business in India. Jai Hind.